What's up, guys? We're gonna brobeatz. Today we're gonna be doing part 2 of Melody Madness. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post homage, do so. But it does help a lot. Let's hop right into it. So if you haven't seen part 1, I suggest going and watching that first. So we're just gonna be doing more patterns. And the first one up is Undertones. So let's go ahead and hop into it. All right, so first up we have Undertones. Now these are very simple. They're similar to like linger notes, where it's kind of like very spaced out, except they have like a melody structure, right? So it'll have like a consistency to it. So let's pick a note, pull this over, and we can just kind of use this little melody here, and then we can use these as like our bass. Okay. So you would start off like this, and then you would just add a few notes. You just add some notes in between. If you remember from part 1, like the placement of some of these notes, so like with the rhythm in this little area is like a great place to start. You don't have to, but it's like a decent place. So let's just pull this up an octave and then something like that, and then we can just kind of use this and just make a simple melody. And over here you can add another note. Okay, so that's an example of that, and let's move on to the next one. All right, so now we're going to talk about finishers, and these are pretty simple. Let's go here, just made a quick little melody, just something simple. Finishers usually will be in this area. Okay, so every 2 bars they would kind of be in this area. So over here it would be right here, and this will kind of conclude your melody and give it that like loop kind of feel. So if we just copy this up, and it doesn't have to be exact, right? But just somewhere at the end. Let's do something like that. Right, and it just kind of gives it that feeling like that it's finished. Let's copy this, go right here, and pull it. Okay, just to make this quicker. What can we use? Let's use this. Okay, that works. So you can see it kind of sounds like it's finished, and then it's like gives it that repeat feeling, that loop. So that is a finisher, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we have like these catchy melody patterns. So these you kind of want to get stuck in people's head by using like repetition. So you can actually use your undertones here. So we can just place our undertones we had before. I think it was D sharp to D. And then in these areas, and it doesn't have to be here, you can put it literally wherever you want, but this is just like a formula. Okay, like putting it in here. I don't know, we could, so something like this, and then maybe we can, let's try that. Oops. Something like that, and you can repeat that the whole time. And then we could add notes in. Let's see. Nah. Oops. All right, and then over here. Right, and you would add these little notes in here to make it kind of just mask it from sounding the exact same, because obviously this could get annoying after like a minute or so. So let's copy this, and then let's move this back so we can have like one of those little finishers we talked about. It could be simple. We can try that. Right, and that could get stuck in someone's head very easily. So that is the catchy melodies. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so now we have flams, and I'm sure most people know what these are. So pretty much they're just these right here, just something like this, right? And you can kind of choose if you hold shift and drag your wheel, or you could just drag it yourself if you hold alt. You can kind of figure out the timing that you want on it. And to make these sound good, you usually want to have something prepped before it. Not all the time do you need to have that, but usually if it's just out of nowhere, you kind of want something to prep it. Okay, just an example. Now, usually if you use notes that are right next to each other, so something like this, they'll sound a lot better. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and like actually continue making a melody real quick. Let's do something like this. Let me do a flam like that, and then return back to this one. And then copy this over. And then on this part, we can just redo this. Let's take this flam here. Actually, let's see. All right, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so those are kind of how you can use flams. So let's go ahead and move on to our next pattern. All right, so now we have chops, and a lot of people don't actually use these often. Only a few people kind of like utilize these. So pretty much it's just treating your melody like hi-hats almost. So you would just throw down a bass note, and then you can press Alt-U to chop it. Okay, and then you can kind of implement this in your melodies, right? Something like that. And you can also do a 1/6 to kind of get like a mallet effect. Something like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is fast forward because I don't want this to take too long, and just kind of make a little quick little melody here. All right. All right, so here is the melody I made, and I'm trying to get this to look bigger so it's not so small, but here it is. Okay, so those are our chops. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so now we have triplets, and the reason I'm showing you this one is because there's two types that you can actually use. So you can use one on the 1/4 grid. So we're on the 1/4 beat, and it would look something like this. Right, so you will place it right here. Oops, like in this little area here, and then place one back on the grid. Well, not on the grid, but like, you know, not in this little off area. And this will kind of give you a triplets. Okay. And then I guess we can just finish this all the way. Okay, and then you have obviously the 1/3 beat. Okay, so those are the triplets. Let's move on. All right, so now we have jazz rhythms. So pretty much you would have to be in the 1/4 beat grid for this. So these are like the places where you can kind of get these jazz rhythms. Okay, so on the first, I guess this would be step of this beat. Okay, and the very last. So these are kind of the placements within an entire bar where you would get these little things. So we could, let's see. All right, so we could put one here. You can get some really cool, you know, rhythms here. I kind of want this to be. I like that a lot better. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and fast forward through some of this just to save a little bit of time, because I'm sure you get the point. All right, so this is the melody. So I just added in like a little hyper pop style melody because they actually use these jazz rhythms in them. So this is, I'll just show you what I mean. So you can see that I just colored everything blue that is like kind of on that jazz area. So you can see, right? You can kind of get that like bounce when you use these jazz rhythms, and you kind of offset on the grid and off the grid. Okay. So I'll just play this once. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, so up next we have like our octave types. So this one is super easy because it's super technical. So we can start here, and you can pretty much just pull it up an octave. And if you want to, you can use the fifth and use that note up there, the note in the middle. If you don't know how to get to the fifth, you just start on a note and go up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then place it, or go up 7, and then you get the fifth. And pretty much you just use this as your kind of melody notes. Just try to get it, and then something like that. Just something like that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have Chord Connect, and this one's pretty simple and fun. So you pretty much just take the root chord, or you can take any chord, but I just prefer taking the root because it's easier. And you can just build a chord from it. So just the original chord, and then you can add, and you just want another chord. You can put as many as you want, but you can do like a suspended. And then you just want to do something like that. And then pull this one up so they're like better connected, and then you can just pretty much take the notes from this and spread them out so that they connect back here. So probably do something simple. Let's use that jazz method right here. Okay, and then let's pull this down and then pull these up just so it's a little different. Okay, pretty simple. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the last one. All right, so lastly we have the snake. And this is pretty self-explanatory. So you just start on your note, and then whatever note you end on here, you pretty much want to flow back into it. So something like that. But you kind of want it to snake back into the note, and this comes in many forms. This is common for, like, you know, if you have like a violin, where it'll kind of do something like that. Like it could look like this, right? Or it could look like how I just showed you. So I'm gonna just fast forward, and well, I guess we could do the first part. Let's do a flam here. Okay, something like that. And I'm gonna just kind of take the same rhythms, and then just take this, matter of fact. All right, so let's play this. Okay, so that is the last one, and that's all right. Real quick, I just wanted to show y'all this. So I went ahead and threw some drums down just for an outro. And I usually just do that anyway after, but just want to show everything we made over the last, you know, 2 videos or so. Just all this we made. Okay, all of this. All right, so I'm gonna play the whole like beat real quick. It actually doesn't sound too bad with everything playing all together. All right, not too bad. So this is gonna be the actual ending of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.